Let the lazy wealth bro show you a money trap that doesn't even feel like debt. You're buying something for $200, but instead of asking you to pay $200, the checkout page says, just 4 easy payments of $50. And suddenly, the purchase doesn't feel expensive anymore. But here's the problem. It's still $200. Nothing became cheaper. The store simply showed you the smallest number possible, and your brain did the rest. Now imagine doing that with 4 or 5 different purchases. Before you know it, you can owe more than $1,000 without ever feeling like you borrowed $1,000. And believe it or not, that still isn't the worst part, because some people are getting charged extra, even when their buy now, pay later plan supposedly has 0% interest. I'll show you exactly how that happens. But first, we need to understand why 4 payments of $50 feel so different from paying $200, even though they're exactly the same amount. Welcome to Lazy Wealth, where we break down the money traps nobody properly explains and show you how to avoid them. Let's say you're shopping for a new television. You find one you really like, but it costs $800. If the website asks you to pay $800 today, you'll probably stop for a moment. Do I really need this? Can I actually afford it? Should I wait until next month? But then you see another option. 4 payments of $200. That feels easier, maybe even reasonable. But the television didn't suddenly go on sale. You're still spending $800. The only thing that changed is the number placed in front of you. Instead of thinking about the full $800, you start thinking about whether you can handle $200 today. The other $600 becomes a problem for future you. And let's be honest, future you already has enough problems. Rent is coming. The car needs gas. The electric bill is waiting. Something always happens. But when you're standing at the checkout screen, none of that feels urgent. The only thing you see is, pay $200 now. This is where buy now, pay later becomes incredibly effective. It removes some of the pain you normally feel when spending a large amount of money. But one payment plan usually isn't what gets people into trouble. The real problem begins when several of them start piling up. And they pile up much faster than you might think. Let's say you buy a $160 pair of shoes. That's 4 payments of $40. No big deal. Then you need some furniture. That costs $500 or 4 payments of $125. A few weeks later, you book a $360 flight. That becomes 4 payments of $90. Then money gets tight, so you use another payment plan for $140 of groceries and food delivery. That's another 4 payments of $35. None of those payments looks terrifying by itself. $40, $125, $90, $35. But add everything together and you have committed $1,160 of your future income. If the schedules overlap, you could have $290, leaving your checking account every 2 weeks. And you may never see one large balance saying, you owe $1,160. Instead, you have 4 different purchases, 4 payment schedules, maybe even 4 different apps. Everything looks separate and manageable. Your bank account doesn't care. It just sees money leaving. So why are companies willing to give you these interest-free payment plans? What do they get out of it? This is where it gets interesting. In many cases, the retailer pays the buy now, pay later company for helping complete the sale. Why would a store do that? Because you're more likely to buy something when the price is broken into smaller pieces. The service doesn't only help you make payments, it helps the store turn your hesitation into a purchase. And this has become a massive business. According to a Federal Reserve analysis, buy now, pay later companies originated an estimated $156.7 billion across pay in 4 plans and other installment products in 2025. Around half of that came from pay in 4 plans, and more than 60% of the total amount carried 0% interest. That sounds like a great deal, but 0% interest does not mean nothing can go wrong. Sometimes the extra cost doesn't come from the buy now, pay later company. It comes from your bank. Most of these plans use automatic payments. When the payment date arrives, the money is pulled directly from your checking account. That's convenient when the money is there. But what happens when 3 payments hit 2 days before payday? Your buy now, pay later plan might not charge you interest, but your bank could charge an overdraft or insufficient funds fee. According to the Federal Reserve, 11% of people who used buy now, pay later had a payment trigger one of these bank fees during the previous year. So yes, the plan can technically be interest-free while still costing you extra money. And that's not the only issue. More than 1/4 of users reported making at least one late payment. Among the people who paid late, nearly 2/3 said they were charged something extra. The plan was interest-free. The mistake wasn't. But there's another part of the research that really caught my attention. People aren't only using buy now, pay later for televisions, furniture, and expensive shoes. Some people are using it to buy food. The Federal Reserve found that 1 in 5 users had used buy now, pay later for groceries or food delivery. And among those people, 45% said they used it because it was the only way they could afford the purchase. That's not somebody spreading out the cost of a new couch because it's convenient. That's somebody using next week's paycheck to buy this week's dinner. And that is where this can become a cycle. Buy now, pay later can help you survive a difficult week, but it doesn't solve the reason you ran out of money. It just pushes part of the bill into the future. Then your next paycheck arrives and some of it is already gone. It belongs to last week's groceries, last month's clothes, a flight you may have already taken. And because the new paycheck is smaller after those payments, you may need another plan to cover the next expense. That's how something that begins as convenience can slowly become dependence. But surely making all these payments on time helps your credit score, right? Not always. And this is where things get confusing. Many short-term pay-in-4 providers historically have not reported normal, on-time payments to the 3 major credit bureaus. So you could make every payment on time and still receive no traditional credit building benefit. But if you stop paying and the account is eventually sent to collections, that can potentially be reported and damage your credit. Longer-term installment plans may work differently. Some can perform a hard credit inquiry. Some may report your payment history. So you can't assume every product works the same way just because it has buy now, pay later written on it. You have to read the actual terms. The Federal Reserve found that 53% of BNPL users incorrectly believed their on-time payments helped their credit scores. A lot of other users simply weren't sure. That means people may believe they're building credit when their positive payment history might not even be reported. But if things go badly enough, the negative consequences could still find their way onto a credit report. Now, does this mean buy now, pay later is always bad? No. Sometimes it can be useful. But there's one question that will tell you whether you're using it as a convenient payment tool or using it because you can't afford the purchase. Ask yourself, could I comfortably pay the full price today without touching my rent money, bill money, or emergency savings? If the answer is yes, and you're only spreading out the payments for convenience, the risk is more controlled. You already have the money. You're simply changing when it leaves your account. But if the answer is no, if the only reason the purchase feels affordable is because the price was divided into 4 pieces, then you are borrowing from your future income. That doesn't mean you're irresponsible. Emergencies happen. Sometimes people genuinely need help getting through a difficult month, but you should still call the product what it is: debt. Not a discount, not free cash, not a budgeting trick. Debt. So here are 5 simple rules that can keep 4 easy payments from turning into a mess. First, always put the full price back together. If you see 4 payments of $50, tell yourself this costs $200. Then decide whether the item is worth $200. Don't make the decision based only on today's payment. Second, keep all your plans in one place. Write down every provider, every remaining balance, and every upcoming payment date. Don't try to remember everything in your head. The apps may keep the purchases separate, but your budget needs to show the full picture. Third, if you already have the money, keep it protected. If you use a payment plan for convenience, leave enough money in your account to cover every remaining installment. That money is already spent. Don't accidentally spend it again. Fourth, be extremely careful about financing things that disappear quickly. Restaurant delivery, routine groceries, trendy clothing, entertainment. The product or experience could be gone before you make the second payment. Finally, check the next 6 weeks before accepting another plan. Don't ask, can I afford the first payment today? Ask, can I afford all my scheduled payments together? Because payday can be late. Your work hours can change, your car can break down, and those automatic payments will still arrive. Buy now, pay later didn't invent debt. It simply found a way to make debt feel less serious. A credit card gives you one large balance. A traditional loan gives you one large payment. Buy now, pay later breaks everything into small pieces and places those pieces directly inside the shopping experience. It feels quick, it feels painless, and sometimes it barely feels like borrowing at all. That is what makes it so easy to underestimate. So the next time a checkout page turns $200 into 4 easy payments of $50, put the pieces back together. The price is still $200. The money still has to come from somewhere. And if you need the full price to disappear before the purchase feels affordable, that might be the clearest warning of all. If this video helped you see buy now, pay later differently, hit the like button. It helps more people find this information before they fall into the same trap. And subscribe to Lazy Wealth for more simple breakdowns of the credit card tricks, banking rules, and hidden money traps nobody properly explains. Because the easier a financial product feels, the more important it is to understand what's really happening underneath it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.